You have seen the headline. Every time you ask ChatGPT a question, it drinks a whole bottle of water. The planet is boiling, and it is your fault for asking about dinner recipes. Scary, viral, and mostly wrong. But the opposite headline, the one that says AI uses nothing, worry about nothing, is wrong too. The truth is boring, and it sits right in the middle. Today, what your questions actually cost the planet, where the scary number came from, and the part that genuinely does matter. I'm Bolty. Let's follow the water. Start with one question. One typical ChatGPT message uses about 0.3 watt-hours of electricity. That is real, and here is what it means. It is running a single LED light bulb for a couple of minutes. It is about 10 times a Google search. 10 times almost nothing is still almost nothing. And the water? The company behind ChatGPT says one average question uses about 1/3 of a milliliter. That is not a bottle. That is not a cup. That is roughly 1/15 of a teaspoon. You lose more water than that from the ice in your freezer while you read this sentence. So where did the scary bottle of water number come from? It is not invented. It came from a real study back in 2023. But that number bundled everything together. The one-time cost of training the entire model spread across early users, older, thirstier data centers, and a broad estimate of water used way out at the power plant, not just at the building. Take a worst case from 3 years ago, pin it on your single question today, and you get a headline. You do not get the truth. Here is the split that clears up almost all the confusion. There are two very different costs, training and using. Training is when they first build the model. That is the giant one-time cost. Months of thousands of computers running flat out. Think of it like building a factory, enormous, expensive, and it happens once. Using is what you and I do all day. Each question runs through the finished model. That is the small cost, the 0.3 watt-hours. One trip through the factory, not building it again. So the honest scorecard for your personal use? A single question is a rounding error in your day. The email you just sent, the video you streamed on the way here, the hot shower this morning, each of those quietly cost more than a week of curious questions. Time for an honest robot moment. If it is basically nothing per question, why is anyone worried at all? Because of a word that changes everything. Scale. One question is a drop. But there are roughly 1 billion questions a day now. Drops become rivers. Rivers become something you can measure from space. Zoom all the way out. Add up every data center on Earth. The buildings that run all our AI, our video, our cloud. In 2025, they used somewhere around 460 billion kilowatt hours of electricity. And the projections say that roughly doubles by 2030, with AI as the biggest reason it is climbing. That is the real story. Not your one recipe question. It is a whole industry growing so fast that its total appetite is exploding all at once in the same handful of years. And here is the part the guilt headlines make you miss. The thing that actually matters is not whether you asked. It is where that electricity comes from. A data center running on wind and solar and water power is a completely different animal from one burning coal. Same question, same watt hours, wildly different footprint. The fight worth caring about is clean power and efficient buildings. That is a fight for companies and governments measured in billions of watts, not for your conscience at the keyboard. So does that let you off the hook completely? Almost. There is exactly one habit worth having, and it is not guilt. It is not using a sledgehammer to crack an egg. The newer thinking models, the ones that reason step by step, can use 10 to 70 times more power than a normal question. They are amazing for hard problems, but firing one up to ask what 2 + 2 is or what time it is, that is the real waste. Match the tool to the job. A simple question deserves a simple model. So let us land this honestly. One question is a fraction of a teaspoon and a blink of electricity. The viral bottle of water is a worst case from years ago, wearing a costume. Do not feel guilty for being curious. But scale is real. The industry's total footprint is climbing fast, and the answer that matters is clean power, not clean conscience. Care about the big number? Use the right size tool. And keep asking questions. That is how you learned this. Next time, Bolty tackles the biggest beginner question of all: what even is AI? I'm Bolty. Stay curious.